here's one way you can look for NTCs, or negative temperature coefficient resistors. Generally, they're about the same shape as a resistor, so something like this, or one of these. But generally, they won't have any markings on the top of it, and so usually they're a black or a gray color. And so I'm suspecting this is one. And so one way to test, and obviously if they have filtering and other things connected to it, it's going to be kind of tough. So you see that started at 8.14 whatever. So there's probably a capacitor in here for some sort of filtering. And it's slowly climbing like we're filling a capacitor with our multimeter here. So one trick of doing that is that, well, they're temperature dependent, so you should be able to measure it at two different temperatures and get two different results. So one trick is get some canned air. Unfortunately, it's got the bittering stuff in it, but it should cool off sufficiently if we can aim it. That it should have quite a bit different resistance now it's cooled off. So it's starting at 8.6. So that's probably a pretty good candidate that that's a NTC. And now I put my finger on it. We'll warm it back up. Just give it a minute to heat up. Or you can also alternatively take a heat gun to it so you don't get that crap in your mouth. But it's also a little bit quicker just to do that. So, okay, now let's see where we're at. 8.2. So it doesn't seem like it's hardly enough of a change, but if you're suspect about it, you can kind of see that the temperature dependence of like a regular resistor next to it here, and it's 5.1 k ohms. We'll do the same thing to it again and see how much does a regular resistor change with a little bit of cooling. 5.160. So this is definitely a good candidate to be an NTC. So we'll probably mess around. I'll take the heat gun to it and come back to that. Alright, we got our trusty heat gun here. We'll heat the shit out of this and see what happens. Yep, it's warm. Nice 1500 watt. It's really pours the coals to it. Don't need to get that warm because it takes doesn't take long with this much wattage going towards it. Alright, we'll measure that, and now that it's a little bit higher temperature, should be able to watch it climb in resistance. Yeah, see that? It's gone 5, 6, 2. So first try I found the NTC on this. So that's one way you can find an NTC if you're trying to disable temperature sensing or anything else like that, or you got to fake something out. Some of the other power supplies that I've used before in the past, or looked at in the past, they actually have some of those temperature sensors integrated on the ICs, which makes it a lot tougher, because then you have to go around and read all the different ICs and then try and figure out, okay, is it internal or does it have an external sense resistor or something? But yeah, if it's in the IC, it's going to be tough to override it, because usually that's built directly into silicone, and you're not going to be able to change its output. Short of swapping the part or insulating it or doing something else for it. But yeah, so we found the NTC, and so what I'll do is just heat this up, and then or probably just actually cut the resistor off, and then put a dummy resistor in there that's to set value. So I'll probably leave this at room temperature, and so it's like an 8K. So what I'll do is just probably replace it with like an 8K resistor, so it always thinks it's 25 degrees. Celsius, and that's how you hack your power supply. I would not recommend it, because unless you're doing some extreme cooling and extreme setups like we are, not generally recommended, because they put the stuff in there for a reason. There's another video on my old personal channel where we spliced together some of the PCI plugs, because we were one plug short, and well, they actually limit the number of plugs. So when they give you a cable pack, if you were to plug everything in, it shouldn't melt down your power supply. I mean, a lot of these have overcurrent protection nowadays, and over temperature and undervolt, and all these different all these other different protections. English, where's the English? I don't know enough German to read that off to you. Yeah, specifications. I don't know, pretty much all of them have the over temperature, over current over voltage, under voltage, all those different types of protections. So you're usually generally pretty safe, but we had some knockoff brand power supply that we tried splicing some wires together, and it literally melted all this solder, and it shorted out against the case and then tripped the breaker. Surprisingly enough, it didn't kill our video cards or anything. Yeah, so these are actually one form of protection that they figure, well, if you can't plug in enough stuff to run it over its voltage, you're not going to run into problems.